For weeks now, a whisper has been circulating through the tense halls of the courtroom. Diddy no longer expects a favorable verdict. He knows it's already lost. His nervous gestures, his shifting gaze, his whispered conversations with his legal team leave no doubt. He's no longer mounting a defense. He's looking for an escape route, a presidential pardon, the final card in a game that has turned against him. For years, Diddy played with fire, believing his empire and connections made him untouchable. But facing the relentless machinery of federal justice, intimidation tactics, and backroom maneuvers are no longer enough. Day after day, the testimonies mount. Chilling, precise, documented accounts weave an inescapable web around him. Cassie, Deontay, Capricorn Clark, Mia, all tell the same story from different angles. Total domination, methodical psychological manipulation, veiled or explicit threats, financial and emotional control. The evidence is overwhelming, supported by documents, text messages, material proofs the defense, despite its aggression, has failed to dismantle. Diddy didn't just abuse his power, he institutionalized it, using his companies as a front, his assistants as enforcers. He orchestrated a system where victims were recruited, transported, surveilled, and isolated. Hotels, private jets, lavish parties. What once seemed glamorous now, through the lens of testimony, reveals a mechanism of control and enslavement. At this point in the trial, the question isn't whether he will fall, but how far. The charges are crushing: sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, transportation for prostitution, obstruction of justice, bribery, forced labor, and the harshest reality: federal law requires only one proven charge to sentence him to life. Diddy knows. That's why his frantic attempts to secure a pardon no longer surprise anyone. Flattery, promises, discreet calls to political elites. Each move betrays his panic, yet rumors grow. Even Donald Trump, no stranger to dubious favors, hesitates to extend a hand, aware of the backlash it could ignite. For the jurors, the equation is simple. Against the mounting testimonies, irrefutable documents, and damning recordings, the defense offers only baseless attacks, incapable of dismantling the victims' accounts. Every intervention from Diddy's team looks less like a coherent strategy and more like a desperate last stand. Public opinion has shifted too. Once idolized, Diddy is now the symbol of unchecked power in an industry silent for too long. The masks are falling. Allies are scarce. Even those who once cheered him on now avert their eyes. Diddy isn't just panicking for himself. He's panicking for what he represents, for all those hiding in the shadows, fearing his downfall will drag them down too. This trial isn't just his. It's an indictment of a system, an era when power meant absolution. And as the courtroom prepares for more witnesses, one truth becomes clear. This isn't a trial anymore. It's a sentencing already written, one he's desperately trying to postpone. Behind the testimonies, another battle is unfolding, quieter yet just as decisive, the battle for a presidential pardon. Diddy, once a symbol of success and excess, is now fighting for survival in the political shadows. He knows the legal verdict won't spare him. He knows this trial is just a prelude to an inevitable sentence. Behind closed doors, rumors are intensifying. Diddy has activated his final networks, calling in favors at the highest levels, flattering oversized egos, promises, veiled offers, unspoken compromises, anything to buy a second chance, far from the bars he already feels closing in. But the landscape has shifted. Even in circles where silent deals are made, Diddy's name has become toxic. The gravity of the accusations, the brutality of the accounts, the undeniable evidence make him a liability. Who would risk their reputation to save a man whose secrets, now exposed, stain the entire industry? The pardon strategy is faltering. Donald Trump, once seen as a potential lifeline, hesitates. The weight of public opinion, the simmering anger of a society tired of privileged impunity, make any pardon politically dangerous. Pardoning Diddy would be seen as legitimizing the indefensible, a pact with impunity. Diddy knows it. His urgent pleas, his frantic maneuvering, everything betrays his fear. Stripped of the glitter, he now appears as he truly is, cornered, isolated, trapped by his own excesses. As the trial progresses, his future shrinks. Each witness, each piece of evidence, each heavy silence in the courtroom tightens the noose. There's no escape. The industry itself holds its breath. Behind Diddy stands decades of abuse, complicity, and cover-ups. The names whispered in the corridors aren't just rumors. Producers, label heads, respected entertainment figures, all dread the domino effect. One misstep, one confession torn from a desperate man, and a whole empire could crumble. Diddy could choose to remain silent, protecting his former allies, or he could decide to drag the entire system down with him. This trial is no longer about one man. It's about an entire network of influence, an empire built on silence and overlooked violence. As the spotlight remains on him, the true trial is of an era, an arrogance that believed it could buy silence and erase guilt. But justice this time seems determined to tear the mask away. And for Diddy, time is running out. The doors are closing, and history, merciless as ever, is already being written. In the cold corridors of the courthouse, Diddy is but a shadow of his former self. Each day, he watches his own downfall unfold, powerless. The whispers that once leaked from private hearings are now confirmed. The evidence, the testimonies, the material documents all converge on a single, unyielding truth. The man who once stood at the summit is discovering that his fall will be brutal, public, and final. The defense strategy is crumbling. Once confident lawyers now struggle to conceal their unease. Every attempt to discredit a witness or weaken a charge fails against the weight of the evidence. Aggressive attacks fall flat. The jurors grow increasingly unreceptive to these tired tactics. The trial has become a slow, inevitable collapse. Diddy, once a master of image and influence, watches his empire disintegrate minute by minute. This is no longer just a trial. It's a lesson delivered to those who believe themselves untouchable. The list of upcoming witnesses promises even more damage. New victims, new accounts, more material evidence, each tightening the noose. Even the few allies who dared to stand by him are retreating, frightened by the magnitude of the scandal. Diddy faces life in prison, not a symbolic sentence, not a luxurious exile, a real, inescapable conviction. The law is clear. A single proven charge is enough to send him away. And the government doesn't have just one. It has several, solid and unassailable. There will be no media comeback, no triumphant return. This time the fall is total and irreversible. Diddy now embodies the end of an era where celebrity served as a shield, where money silenced scandal. Ultimately, this trial is bigger than one man. It marks the end of an age of silence, a warning to those who believed power could buy anything. The illusion has been shattered, and as the final chapter is written, one certainty remains. Diddy will not walk away unscathed. He will be judged, not just by his peers, but by history itself, a history that this time refuses to forget,